Man, good evening, good evening, good evening. It is, what is this, November 17th, 2022. It is approximately 8 o'clock p.m. I am Music Monk ATL. This is my brother Rashid Muhammad.
What's up?
And we are, minus Mr. Laris Hodges, who is on his way, being a conversation. The world's #1 show for
Comprehensive barbershop talk.
There we go. So, hey man, it's been a lot going on. I got to start off with this, man. Like, you know, it seems like I'm never really numb to the trauma. I'm never used to it. You know, recently we had a sister. I believe her name is Shanquella Washington. I mean, not Washington. Excuse me, Robinson. And this young lady with a group of friends went down to either Cancun or Cabo, and within 24 hours, this young lady lost her life. And her friends came back to the States and told her mother and father, because she had a mother and a father that lived together, mother and a father, that their child died from alcohol poisoning. And then, you know, I don't know why people do this, man. But I'm thankful that people do shit like this, but I also don't understand why people do it in the first place. So they videotaped it, and it got leaked. Now I don't know that
what?
They videotaped this assault, this beating.
So she was beaten.
She was beaten to death.
I don't know anything about this. So
this young lady was beaten to death. Her neck was broken. Her spine was cracked. Her friends got on the plane, her quote-unquote friends got on the plane, hopped on the flight, came back to America, told her parents they didn't know what happened or that she had alcohol poisoning. One of the guys then got on live and said that he don't know because when he was with her, you know, he was trying to soothe her and the nurse came, and his story don't make no sense because this nigga saying this shit stateside. So I'm hurt. It just always seemed like it's some hurt, you know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, maybe it's the empath in me. Maybe I'm just genuinely concerned about people. But I don't know what would possess. Like, I don't like. Everybody need to go to jail. Fuck all of them. All of you all need to go to jail on some level. Now check this out. Now I love the fact that we coming together because I'm seeing that there's a faction of us who are about that. Who about that action. Now I'm not saying that I agree with the methods. But I do like how the internet sleuths will get on your ass quick and they will dox you. And they dox the hell out of these people. So all of their addresses, and I'm not saying, obviously we're not going to, you know, reveal their addresses. But it's on the internet. And that shit was out there in list form. They put them people's addresses out there in Excel formats. You know what I mean? So I'm not always a fan of obvious street justice. I feel like street justice should be swift, quiet, and efficient. I don't feel like you should telegraph your punches. But in this particular case, you know what I mean? Hey man, like justice for this young lady because it seems like a setup. And I feel like the community we're already continuously rubbed raw by situations like this. Obviously, everyone's still feeling the collective impact of losing Takeoff. And you can even see the frustration with that situation because clearly these people know everything that happened. They ain't found no charges. So once again, it's always when one of us suffers or when one of us meets an untimely demise, there's always this weird process. You know what I mean? This unorthodox process. There's always this elongation of the process and extrapolation of evidence and justice and causation and shit. And I'm glad that these people took it upon themselves, albeit maybe a little preemptive. But shit, man, you got this dude on here talking about saying everything but how that girl died, and you was there. So you already implicating yourself. So if you getting death threats, well, maybe it'll prompt you to just go ahead and speak your truth. Since everybody on this, I'm gonna speak my truth, right? Why don't you go speak your truth down there to the authorities? Why don't you do that? Since you so convicted in saying that you were there for your friend who suffered a broken neck and a cracked spinal cord. Now, I have to mention this. Now, I was debating on whether or not I was going to mention this or not. This was a truly co-ed trip. And what I mean is that there were men, there were women, and there were allegedly trans people here. Now, why am I bringing this up? I don't have a bell, but I'm going to have an imaginary bell. Why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because allegedly it was the trans young lady who beat her to death.
I mean, okay.
I don't know if that's necessarily worthy of a gunshot. I really did just want to wet my whistle. But the reason why I am bringing this up is because it highlights issues of how do we go about protecting each other in the community. How do we go about protecting each other in the community when we go out of our ways to overly protect people from any level of accountability? So when people get physical, and let's just say that the person that brutally beat her to death was a biological male, dressed as identifying as a woman. That's very, very problematic, especially for someone like me. If I'm out and I'm like, okay, do I know this person is trans? Do I know? Or if I don't know, and I just see a woman getting beat to death by another woman, as a man, am I allowed to step in? You see what I'm saying? Like,
I think you're allowed to break it up.
I think you're allowed to break it up, but I mean, at this point, I mean, it looked like she beat that girl. She literally, one person, unless they all stomped that girl to death, one person.
Now, I'm sorry. Did you say it was videotaped by somebody?
Yes, and then you hear a Negro in the background talking about some fight her back, and I'm like, shit, her neck broke, nigga. What are you talking about? The audacity. So look, I'm not saying don't travel. I'm not saying don't make friends.
And you're not saying don't travel with trans friends. And
I'm definitely not saying don't travel with trans friends. The reason why I brought the trans issue up is because I'm like, there are other men there too, right? So it's like the women. So who feels? I'm asking like what kind of issues does that bring in terms of stepping in, and what level of force? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What level of force? You know what I'm saying? Are you, if that's the case? Is that a reason? Was that one of the reasons that people were necessarily afraid to step in? Were they in on it? Did the men feel some type of way that maybe if they stepped in, they went too far, that they would be, I don't know. Did the women know that ultimately they couldn't step in because it's a biological male? What happened? You see what I'm saying? Like, what happened to this young lady that will prompt, regardless of that? I think that that's a part of it, not the whole part, but it's a part of it. But outside of that, what would compel them to even beat the girl like that and then leave her dead body and then hop on a plane and come back to America? Like, you got a lot of fucking explaining to do. And you up here blocking your social media and shit. People already got your addresses. So if they got your addresses, I'm pretty sure they done found your people's address. The FBI done reopened up this investigation, done linked back up with Mexico. So now it's a jurisdiction issue because you killed a U.S. citizen on foreign soil. So now you done a whole host of things. And I'm not even going to me, it doesn't really matter. I feel like when people talk about like race on race crime, I feel like that's kind of stupid because most of the time you're gonna be around people who you look alike. So it's not even that. It's just the whole you lured this girl like 1,000 miles from home to like beat her to death. Like, what could she have possibly done to like, nigga, just unfollow her? Like, is it that serious? You know what type of hate you gotta have somebody to beat them to death? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying to figure out what's really motivating, what's the pathology behind it. And like I said, the only reason why I bring up that other issue is because you're looking at a truly co-ed type of trip. So people, when you're traveling and you just think, oh, we're just gonna be so accepting and we're gonna kumbaya this, that, and the third. When some shit goes down, you got real life decisions to make. You know what I'm saying? And it's not always going to be clear cut like that. But for the protection and the sanctity of human life. If it's me in that situation, Short is living, and whoever got a problem with it, then shit, we all finna tumble. Cause you ain't finna kill, you ain't finna beat me to death. So, it just seemed like it seemed like they targeted her for a particular reason, man. And it's very sad. It breaks my heart. But hey, you just really got to know who you fuck with, man, when you going out of town with these folks, man. All that traveling and shit. God damn. Sometimes you sit your ass down somewhere. It's okay to sit. You know what? Sometimes Saturday is cool to just sit back and just watch an SVU marathon and shit. You know what I'm saying? Watch some overrated college football. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. It ain't nothing wrong with being at your house sometime, because I tell you one thing, man, shit pop off so quick. You just never know, man. You just look, two situations in the past couple of weeks where we got young people who were with people that they thought they could trust. If you want to talk about an underlying theme here, you know what I mean? Like, we got two young people no longer with us because they were overly trusting of the people that they were with, and then take into account the environment away from home. You got two young people that's done lost their lives in a brutal manner away from home around people that they thought they could trust. Like, you gotta stay at home. Sometimes you gotta stay at home. You start staying at home long enough, you'll see who really fuck with you, because they gonna adjust and acquiesce to how you live your life. You know what I mean? Like, most people know, like, you know where to find me. So if you fuck with me, you're not gonna be like, oh well, Monk don't come out, so I'm not gonna holler at him. No, I talk to everybody that wants to talk to me, regardless of whether or not I go out or not. It doesn't affect my popularity. It doesn't affect none of this stupid shit. It doesn't affect any of that. So y'all, stop overly subjecting yourselves to people to be social, because you don't know what these people really got in mind for you, man. Like, that's crazy, man. She might have probably met these people through social media. Like, that's the crazy part. More people are just establishing relationships through digital means anyway. So how are you really vetting people? And we know black people are some of the most accepting people when it comes to, it's like, oh man, we let everybody come to the cookout. Everybody come to the barbecue. Everybody my fam. Everybody my sister. Everybody my cousin. No. Some of these people ready to goddamn knock your block off for no real reason, man. So that's my rant, man. I know I talked about it. I'm just hurt, man. Like, I just really be hurt by, like, dumb shit, man. Like, it's just really, like, it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate, man.
Sure.
So the election shit done calm down?
Yes, I mean, it looks like the Dems are going to at least control the Senate, and I think the Republicans, as of today, have control over the House, which I do think it is worth noting that back in 2020, a lot of Democrats were calling the Senate racist and were very intentional about talking about how the House is where the real democracy lies. Somehow, I doubt they're going to be saying that now. So it's just, again, this is not necessarily to pile on the Democrats and their moment of loss, because Republicans would do similar dumb stuff, but it's just the transiency of politics. I haven't really been, I know that much. The story I've been really following is a fairly trivial one, I guess, which is Elon Musk's Twitter acquisition.
Yeah, he been wilding out, man. He been wilding the fuck out.
It's been kind of funny to me because, number one, Elon, for those of you who don't really know the saga, I think it started out with Elon ostensibly joining the board of Twitter. I guess he joined the board. He bought like a small stake in Twitter, joined the board for whatever reason.
Because they died down. Yeah, it died down at first, and then it came back, popped back up.
Then he just started talking smack about the board and about how Twitter's run, and then he made an offer to buy Twitter for $54 a share, which was a little high at the time. And then between then and now, Twitter's
where's the fucking bell when you need one? God damn. Not the shitters.
Significantly.
Yeah.
So Elon tried to back out of the deal and wasn't able to back out.
Right,
so,
right. I remember that part.
Paid a lot of money for Twitter. Takes Twitter over. And the thing you have to understand about
what did he end up paying, like $44 billion, right?
$44 billion.
Okay,
yeah.
right.
What you have to understand about Twitter is that Twitter is the, like, preferred playground of, like, the journalistic liberal elite.
That may I see that too.
Reporters,
more than Reddit.
You know, a lot of the yes.
Whoa,
yes.
That's saying a lot. Reddit got to be number 2.
And you know, I think the other thing about Twitter is that just like a lot of other social media, particularly during the pandemic, you know, this whole narrative, which I think is fair to say has been almost exclusively pushed by the Democrats around like misinformation and all this sort of stuff. You know, so these social networks, a lot of them have been like tailored upon themselves to like fight misinformation, which is it's kind of a funny thing because I mean, bullshit has been around for as long as human beings have been able to communicate. So I mean, they act like it's something like newly insidious, because I guess you know the Russians spent like $100,000 on with Facebook ads back in 2016, and somehow that was the thing that turned the election. I think a lot of this is really just denial that Trump beat them in 2016, and so they try to find every excuse that they could to explain that. Outside of the fact they just ran a shitty candidate who ran a shitty campaign, and so we end up with all the misinformation stuff. I think that is part of what animates, you know, Elon Musk's thing. And so, like, he takes over Twitter, he fires half the people, and a lot of those people are, like, in the content moderation. A lot of them are the people that
now, there was this one department that he fired. It was under the ethics department. It was like something for
ethics, I think.
It was for global something. It was like a global cultural compliance. It was like some little thing that they did. So he fired all of them, and then some people have been barking about him on Twitter about him, and he fired them on the spot. And then there was controversy about buying verifications. So that was always a thing for a second, like blue check verification, right? Like it was supposed to be something it was supposed to be essentially a meritocracy. It's supposed to be based on like your influence, some sort of slightly algorithmic, but mostly just based on your influence, your followers, your prestige. But come to find out,
to make sure that you were who you said you were.
Verified. Essentially, it was you were verified, but you were verified for a particular reason, though, right? You know what I'm saying, or for a litmus of reasons, right?
Yes.
Come to find out, these people was that damn. They was peddling verification. It was people that had no business being verified, right? And then also, so I also heard recently that, you know, if you're on the Tesla side of things, you should be concerned when you're hearing him say that he's sleeping on the floor at Twitter. You should be concerned with that. You know what I mean? It's like, well, hold on. You know what I mean? Like, how much is this like how vested are you into this project? You know what I mean? Because it looks like you just doing it just to kind of just slang clout. This is like a clout slanging operation right now. It kind of feels like it, man.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know what's in his heart. I guess what I would say there is that, I mean, you know, obviously Tesla is a much more mature company that you would think could function without him necessarily being there day to day every day. Though he did say recently that he was going to spend some time at Tesla this weekend or something like that. But, you know, I think it's just been interesting to me because, you know, we like the whole verification, the whole paid verification. Like they rolled it out, then they rolled it back, and
right.
And, you know, people just talk about how much of a clusterfuck it was and all this sort of stuff. And, like, it just feels so bad faith because, again, like, what's happened is the, like, censorious people who want to be the gatekeepers of everything we consume, and they want to call whatever they want misinformation, even though they fucked up multiple times calling things misinformation.
They never tell you what it is.
A very, very... The most salient one for me was when YouTube deplatformed Rand Paul, because Rand Paul made a video saying that cloth masks were worthless for COVID. And they like kicked him off for suspended him or whatever, and that was like a 100% true statement. But the thing was that at the time the narrative was that you had to wear a mask, and people were saying like it didn't matter just as long as you had something on. That was quantifiably false. But by Rand Paul saying that goes against the kind of established narrative that was out there. So they called it misinformation. It wasn't until the Omicron variant hit. And
the last one, that's the last variant.
That bullshit just wouldn't hold anymore.
Yeah.
And then finally you had these people in the public health apparatus being like, yeah, you need to actually wear a real mask. But that's the thing. But the whole point is that like the whole idea of misinformation in that case, and a lot of other cases, you had the Hunter Biden thing where I don't know that story would have necessarily changed the election, but the fact that they just fucking shit canned it like they did. And like literally Twitter would not let you share the story, which turned out to be the story. It turned out to be a true story, but instead of investigating it,
and it had a lot of
they stopped your ability to share a fucking link even in DMs on Twitter. So I'm just saying they brought a lot of shit on themselves by being very irresponsible of like how they have wielded their power. And
that was the department that ended up getting fired. It was the department that was it was like the global censor. It was like they were the ones that were going around policing everyone. And kind of like even with like TikTok, you know what I mean? TikTok, YouTube is a little less stringent, a little bit, because you can go around, you can actually make you can kind of like recreate words and stuff like that. People know like it's a new language. But there's something else that they're doing too. Oh, so if you had a copy of Drink Champs, right? If you had a copy of the original Drink Champs, the original Ye interview, the big one, right? If you had that and you put it in your Google Drive, Google was going into your private drive and removing it for content violation.
What?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah.
That's some bullshit, man. But I mean, that's why I keep bullshit in the cloud. Like I don't keep any shit that actually matters in any of those cloud drives or whatever. Because
they do, man. They shadow ban the fuck out of me. I got shit I done sent to political campaigns, and I copied and attached it, and that shit ain't there no more. Hey girl, how you doing? That's my boo there. And so I was saying like, it's real, man. It's real. Like, yo, man, shadow banning is real. So that's how I know tonight, I don't know what's going to happen, man. It's good to see y'all. How y'all doing, man?
We good, man. We good up in here holding it down, man. Okay. Man, look, I think I had a rant for about how long? About 10, 12 minutes, man. It was very passionate. It was semi-eloquent, man. It was all real though, bro. It was all real.
Yeah.
It was all real.
Yeah. Okay.
What you got for us, man? What you got? Late. Apologize, man. Apologize to your constituents.
Let me say something to Roku. Everybody out there, Facebook, IG, TikTok, wherever the hell ever. You know what I mean? Global Vision, Status Network people. Yeah, I was like, but you know what? I wasn't even gonna do it, man. I was done for the year because I got to get ready to do my FedEx stuff real quick. But I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna put it to you straight up. My cousin called me, and I'm thankful. I ain't gonna say which cousin, but my cousin called and said, "Now I'm surprised you didn't come. Y'all done did all this work and you didn't come and do nothing after the election." And I caught hell in a goddamn rainstorm like the rest of a lot of people who sided with us here. And a lot of it, man, people wouldn't do my hair, you know what I mean? Which I'm cool.
People wouldn't do your hair over what? Yeah. Over what? Why they want?
Over this people thought that my one vote. Well, we did pull these motherfuckers over, you know. And I want to say something about this shit. I want to go ahead and address it. Stacy didn't do a good job.
If anything, he made me a libertarian. If anything, we talking about pulling somebody.
She didn't do a good job.
No, she didn't.
She didn't do a good job. And at the last minute, when they got word that they had kind of lost the Hispanic vote because the Latino people don't really believe in abortion and contraceptives, that's when the pushback was. So I'm very happy about it. We grew up watching Ricky Lake and Jenny Jones and Sally Jesse Raphael and all that shit. And they was pushing the narrative back then. That was when that whole narrative, I don't need no man, Ricky. Y'all don't remember watching Ricky Lake after school?
I didn't watching Ricky Lake.
Right. Well, I'm saying that to say it died. Because anytime a triple minority, a black female lesbian who obviously doesn't like me.
Hey man, you gotta be. Hey man, that's the one thing you do gotta be careful about, cause you don't know. Hold on. That's libel.
We're gonna say that.
That's libel. That's. But Luther, he dead, bruh. You can speculate.
See some things.
No, you have to speak on the absence of. You can't.
I mean, she's a public figure. I don't think that libel will apply.
Oh, it don't apply.
No.
Yeah, I mean, and so
I don't think she would take being lesbian as any kind of slander anyway. Or like,
right. I mean, like, when you go to Spelman, there's like a universal standard of beauty, and I'm saying that everybody has like variations of that. But there's no way that this woman is going to convince me that being a Spelman, that in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Have you all been on the Spelman's campus? I have. I used to go. Well, I just was there for the homecoming not long ago. I don't care about her sexuality. That's not important. What's important is that there's no way that she was going to convince black men that she was pro-men. And any agenda that we would have had or wanted wouldn't be there. And so there was a time when I think with black men, what people didn't understand is I surveyed young men out in the streets, and a lot of black men were apolitical. You know why? Because they would get up, they'd go to work, they come home, they take care of their wife, they take care of their kids, and they just get a bottle of Hennessy on the weekends and a haircut and maybe a car wash. And they don't even trip about shit. Here's the reality though. Niggas ain't got no wives no more. Now niggas is mad. The most dangerous niggas in the club was always the niggas that didn't have no women. Because the niggas that came in there with women, they wasn't bothering nobody.
Hey.
And I'm saying that to say, now you got all these angry black men. It's like, yo, man, what's going on with the lionesses? Why they ain't, you know, it's crazy. It's something so simple. And so I want to say this. I think that the brothers did make I think things had got so bad. If you look at the Nat Turner movie, man, where they had the little girl who had the leash around her neck, right? That was a very big point in slavery. That illustration, that pictorial, where she had that leash around her neck. Mm-hmm. Here's why. The only way that you can play with somebody and let them put a leash around your neck, if it's a white person and a black person, is if you don't even have a thorough understanding of slavery. You don't even realize you're in slavery. Because you're born and this is a normal way of life. Here's where things get dangerous. It takes a whole lot for people who don't even realize they're slaves to start fighting back. Like your Harriet Tubmans, your Nat Turners. Things have to get that bad, and I think that what's happened for black men is that things have just gotten so bad. Now, I am not down. There are some very good black women, especially our age black women. Great. A lot of them are much better. If you talk to the average black women, and I would have you go out and talk to them, I'm going to get to the older black men because they about to catch it. They going to get the dick in the ass tonight. You know what I mean? And no Vaseline.
The older black men are going to get it.
The older black men, yes they are. And I'll explain why. But if you talk to...
Your analogies is you
own
one tonight.
No Vaseline tonight.
You Ice Cube. You Ice Cube tonight.
Tonight, yeah. And actually Ice Cube's the one who led the movement. You know what I mean? Fitting. For black men. The same, yes, fuck the police Ice Cube was the one who helped to rally black men nationwide for this movement where black men went to the conservative side and decided to team up with conservatives to get this liberal out of our goddamn house, man. Because he's been fucking it up. He's been fucking it up royally.
Okay, I'm sorry. When was this?
He's talking about the contract with he's talking about that contract.
I mean, I remember that. I don't remember that. I remember that.
He's adding the extra on too.
I'll say, yeah.
He's adding the extra on too.
He kicked it off.
Yeah, he
in my personal opinion, or you could even say Candace, but right now Candace ain't too popular because of some stuff she said. I still fuck with her. I don't agree with everything Candace Owens do, but I do fuck with her. So here we go. Fast forward. All right, check it out. So if you go in the grocery store right now, man, 1 week from Thanksgiving, 1 fucking week from Thanksgiving, And you
To
talk
the
to
day.
most women,
And you
and
work.
you get talking to them 25, 35, you be like, what you doing for Thanksgiving? Just experiment with it, goddamn. You know what I mean? What you doing for Thanksgiving? I'm going, listen, they ain't gonna say they going by their mama house. They gonna say, I'm going, my grandmother's cooking. That mean the mama can't even cook. See, this is what I'm trying to tell you how bad this shit is. It's generationally fucked, and that's when we're gonna get to the older black men, because they did this shit. They allowed this liberal to come into our community and fuck it up. So you start saying, if you pulled out an index card and you gave it to a room full of 100 women here in Atlanta with a pen and pad, or with just a pen and index card, you say, okay, so what do you bring to the table, baby? You know, and I'm telling you how bad things have gotten for brothers. Because brothers call me. They're calling me all the fucking time, telling me about their problems. And we finally did something about it, you know. But you say, well, what do you do? I talked to somebody in my family, and then they said, well, black women work these days. I said, well, shit, they ain't sharing no fucking money. So what fucking good does that do?
We having a belly show tonight.
Okay,
there we go.
So abortions exceeded live births in the black community.
Woo.
Black fathers who have custody of their yes it is.
Right.
Black fathers who have custody of their children is at an all-time high. They're not having babies. They're not raising babies. They won't cook. They won't clean. And what I'm saying is that they don't have to do any of it. They got to tell you what they're doing. I work, but they not sharing the money. I mean, like, bitch, what the fuck do you do? I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like, this is, like, I don't know. And niggas just got fed up with it. And niggas was not finna let a woman get in office that represented you can be successful without a man. Niggas is tired of that shit.
Yeah.
They are so, because that's what that represents.
Yeah.
And so that's why I brought up her sexuality, because if she says, as in my opinion, as a lesbian, if she says, if black men vote for me, I will win, that means that even a lesbian realizes that she has to have black men. Come on!
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
So there's no more excuse. That 30-year curse is broken. 30-year curse closed. Yes.
Let's go.
You need a man, because niggas ain't running around saying, I don't need no woman. And if so, you better watch them. They whole agenda.
I look at a nigga real suspect when he say I don't need no woman. I'm
we did the homophobia show right here.
Fuck,
we
man.
did it right here in this studio. We are not against gay people at all. And that was the discussion that we had when we had the homophobia show. We are against people attaching agendas to people to further their agenda. All they want to do, the Democrats, all they want to do is talk about chicks with dicks. And y'all sit up and y'all talk about Herschel Walker. But I'm going to tell you something. Maybe he can't write a goddamn speech or win a Nobel fucking Peace Prize. But guess what? If they bring up talking about chicks with dicks as a law, he can say no to it, goddammit. And I believe that he will do it.
Bow.
You know what I mean?
Hey, man,
that's what we need him to do.
Yeah,
and it's not because we're against chicks with dicks. What we're saying is that we're against taking time out to talk about legislation about chicks with dicks. Nobody is bothering chicks with dicks. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's running around saying, oh, that's a chick with a dick. We need a new law for it. Nobody's doing that. You know, the anti-sodomy laws on the book were put in place, and the Supreme Court overturned them on the basis that in order to even properly execute the laws on anti-sodomy, you have to first violate someone's right to privacy. You are okay. You have your rights. We do not need any more rights. If you don't like it, I don't give a fuck. We got the numbers now. Now we got the numbers. And in 2 fucking years, we're going to have more numbers. This shit is going to stop. It's over. It's over. The foolishness is over with. Now, I'm going to get on the older black men, because y'all let that shit go down. Some of y'all ministers are just as bad as the fucking slave master, finding ways to twist twist the Bible to do to make it say that abortion and all this is okay. Y'all are some weak motherfuckers, and we can beat y'all fucking ass in the streets. And I don't mean with words. We can physically beat your ass now.
You talking about the old man? You talking about old man?
I'm talking about the 60-year-old men.
You talking about the niggas that didn't have power tools as kids? Them niggas.
Yep, we can beat their ass now.
The niggas.
So guess what? Well, I was asking for y'all's help. I asked for the older women's help. Nobody wants to help. Nobody wants to say nothing. Everybody gets shit wrong. You got it wrong, that's okay. But won't nobody come back and say they got it wrong? You older men that vote democratically, if they slit kids' throats and drank their blood, you'd still do it. You'd find some fucking way to justify that bullshit. And we're fucking tired of it. And now we have the numbers. And because you allow these fucking liberals to come in and fuck up our community the way that you have, we're going to take the sons. We're going to take the babies. Because if you ask a 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 25, 26-year-old who they going to listen to, a 40-year-old man or a 60-year-old man, I guarantee you they going to say a 40-year-old man. This shit is over with. In 2 years, y'all niggas is going to be done. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I felt that. When you said that, say it one more time. You said ashamed of yourself.
I mean, ashamed.
I felt that shit.
All the shit that y'all taught me growing up.
I will,
and y'all riding with this shit.
I will say there is something to what you're saying. And the reason why I feel like there was two kind of, I feel like, and I'm not just limiting it to these just two personality types, but I feel like there were two type of older men in our community. You had the ones that was simping out, and then you had the ones that was pimping out. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, you know, those are like the ones that you're talking about, the ones that are kind of let this shit slide. Those are the ones that these women are talking about nowadays when they say, man, my granddaddy took my grandmama in, she had 4 kids. Those the niggas that we talking, those them old
Oh
niggas
yeah,
we talking about.
Yeah.
Those them old,
the Maury Povich followers. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I have paid for abortions, okay? And I'm not saying it's right, but you know why I did it? Because I was running from my goddamn responsibilities as a grown man. Even though I was a young child, I was running. I'm a grown man. I wouldn't do that now. I ain't never met a woman that wanted to be with a man and was certain she wanted to be with him that didn't want to have his baby. To this day. So y'all niggas, y'all simping ass niggas out there that's running around saying that ain't right, man. You shouldn't let women be able to do what she want to do. Let her fight her fight. That ain't your fight. Because what's happening is that she might not even know who the goddamn daddy is because she running around taking your simp ass money and then fucking a real nigga at night like me.
God damn. God damn.
Yeah, that's why. I ain't met a woman yet that don't love a man that don't want to have his child. See, we're going to stop playing. It's playtime's over with. The good thing is you don't need but a handful of real niggas to make that happen. And we proved it with this fucking election. We proved it. Y'all can try to sound good in front of women. Women don't give a fuck about that shit. Women respect strength, nigga. They don't give a fuck about you making them feel good about what the fuck you say.
And to that point, the exit polls starting to show that a larger percentage of black women
are picking Herschel.
Did not vote for Stacey Abrams.
Yeah.
More black women didn't vote for Stacey Abrams that were eligible than black men. But that stat hadn't been pushed out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we talked about it a few weeks ago. That, you know, they were talking about the problem Stacey Abrams has with black men, but the percentage that went down between black men and black women between the election and the polls showed black women had a bigger fall.
You know,
even though they were from a higher place, so the overall number was still higher.
Well, because they followed. So when I went to homecoming, to y'all's point, when I went to homecoming,
talking about Spellhouse.
Yep, Spellhouse homecoming. Me and one other brother. It was I'm talking about, man, it must have been 15, 20 men in there, man. Me and one other brother went outside. And look, 6 women followed us. That's what y'all didn't count on, is that women are still going to follow the stronger men.
Yeah, I just don't think Stacey Abrams really. I mean, again, unless like abortion was like the thing for you, and it is for some people, but I mean, it's not that. I mean, look, if it was a thing, she would have won. So clearly, it wasn't a thing because that's all she fucking talked about. Here, when it came to every fucking campaign that I heard was about Brian Kemp, abortion.
She yeah. Nah, she thought that so like that 18 to 29 blue wave across the country, she thought number one that was going to be enough, but it wasn't. But I think abortion was the number one thing. And
it still didn't work.
I don't think that was so.
It was for a lot of women. Oh, they trying to tell us what to do.
Hold on. I guess the key thing here though is that I have to see that data broken down because that feels like an over aggregation to me. Because the thing is that to the extent that abortion is an issue, that's almost like a state by state thing, right? So like if you're in a state where there's some like was it what state was it? Kentucky that had like some constitutional amendment around abortion on the ballot. Probably means a little bit more to you. If you're in California, who the fuck cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's a fucking Democrat. But I'm sure everybody answered that it was the most important thing. But it don't really mean shit in the grand scheme of how you analyze the election. Because all those people don't actually matter. They didn't change the outcome of election by abortion being their number one thing and voting for a Democrat in California. That shit don't matter. Clearly in Georgia, where there wasn't one of the stricter abortion laws in the country is here in Georgia. And the governor and Kemp didn't run away from it. And Abrams beat him over the head with it. And she got her ass whooped in the election. So all I'm saying is like, I think there's more subtlety to that whole impact of the Dobbs decision in the election than I think a lot of the commentary is accounting for.
Well, to your point, it may be. Because I don't know, we never know what somebody's carrying with them when they go in there. And it could have been more of a sorority thing. But I can say this, that.
So let me just say one quick thing.
Sure.
I mean, for me, the question is like, for me, the fundamental political calculus is, when's the last time you had an abortion versus when's the last time you went to the grocery store?
Okay. I think you're right about that. You're right. And I mean, and Brian Kemp has done very well. And that's why when we put the post up about the rebirth of the South, I believe that Georgia, where the direction that Georgia's going in with regard to the United States of America and it being the hegemon and the best state to do business in within the last 8 years consistently, the trend and the movement, the new civil rights movement just started here. We kicked it off. We're not going backwards. We will be moving towards a traditional route. We're going to get the votes. We're going to go for the young boys. And I'm very confident that we're going to get them because the mothers want to go out and party. Because they haven't had enough drinks or heard the same songs enough. And that's important to keep doing that all the time. And
but that's the real work, man. I mean, getting people to vote one way, I mean, that at best is only a temporary solution. The actual work is to change that dynamic.
It's the shadow work. It's the behavior.
And that takes one-on-one.
It takes
legislation to get the protection.
You can't.
You can't legislate, bruh. So let me. So going back to the abortion thing, I gotta say on a grassroots cultural level, that's the main thing that caused the division amongst black women and black men in this election in Georgia. If you didn't vote for Stacey Abrams, you were attacked with you not supporting women's rights. And I got told specifically, my reproductive rights matter more than anything. And Stacey, because you got, you know what I'm saying?
Sure,
so
women that believe that. I totally believe
I understand. I understand, but I definitely understand what you're saying. You're talking about in the grand scheme of things in terms of how the numbers played out, right?
Look, elected Stacey Abrams is not going to change the heartbeat.
It's not.
But
it's not.
But
it's not.
Not electing her could very well change how much money is spent and what the money is spent on and how it impacts inflation.
And that was
about to be fought another day is really my big point.
But I agree with you. That's why a lot of times we couldn't really get the issues addressed because it always went back. It was circumvented and it came back to reproductive rights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's initially what I'm trying to say. But
no, I mean, and I think so. I think it was because, to his point, the knee-jerk reaction whenever you say that you're going this way is,
even if you don't say, if you just say that you're not going, if you just say that if you just detract from her at all, it's automatic. It's all or nothing. And I don't think that part is fair.
Yeah, well, it's the stupidity of politics. Like, partisan politics makes people stupid, and the most loyal Democrat constituency in this entire country is black women and Democrats. And so that stupidity is just going to bleed. And again, this is not. It sounds like a blanket insult on some level. I guess it sort of is. But I know a lot of black women that are perfectly reasonable people, whatever. But when you start bringing politics into this shit, man, you bring politics into this shit and partisanship, and some of the smartest motherfuckers I know get stupid.
They get real.
They lose all sense of nuance. They lose all sense of fucking what's what and what their actual lives are like. And they fall for these fucking political narratives that tell them some shit that they know ain't true.
So,
but they assume it's true for everybody else, so they're not a good liberal unless they sign on to it.
Yeah, so, I agree with that as well. I will say this, and there's a lot I can say. However, I want to honor the request with regard to degrees, and I'd like y'all's opinion on it about one of my family members made a statement saying that degrees did not lose value until black people got them. And I have an opinion, but I will defer. Maybe we can coin toss. Y'all are so smart, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if that, so that's more. I'm not going to say that is untrue, but I would say that if it is true, it is probably more of a correlation than it is a causation.
Let's see where you go with this, because we might be on the same page. Go ahead.
I don't think that it's like specific. So what's basically happened is that, number one, just what it takes to get a degree just ain't what it was before. And when the government puts all this money towards student loans, that just generates more demand for degrees. And colleges, who are just as profit-seeking as anybody else. Yeah, I work for a state university, and they want money just like everybody else wants money to fund their programs and pay their people more money. They do everything they can to soak up that dough. And I think that the student loan programs, I think that was Nixon that started that stuff, like in the 70s, which is around the time, Civil Rights Act, late 60s or whatever, like all these things start to come together. Mm-hmm. Black folks start to go to college more. It starts to align with
UNICEF
more money that's going into things. More money going into things contributes to just watering down criteria because college ain't for everybody. They want to act like it's for everybody. They want to try to get everybody into college. So I mean, I can totally see, but my guess is that if you really looked at that data, what you would see that degrees, if you look at individual degrees, some are probably just as valuable as they were then or even more valuable, like computer science or engineering, whatever.
We all gonna be on the same page on this one. I know we going with this one.
But you'll see a whole lot of other degrees, and God bless them. I'm not saying they're not worth studying or whatever, but you're going to see a whole lot of other degrees that where not only has the amount gone down, but you just see that just way more of them are awarded. Like, I bet you don't see a whole lot more engineering degrees now than you saw back in the 70s. But I bet you see a whole lot more.
Say it. Say it. God damn it. Say it.
I don't want to take all the thunder.
Oh, man. All right. Well, fuck it. I'm going to say it. All right. Appreciate that. We running the 2x200 up in this motherfucker. Now, the 2x400. That's what we running. We going to do one lap. 2 folks. All right. To your point. Those BAs, those psychology BA degrees, man. Now, cause the mass comm and the mass comm degrees. But I will say this: that right there is a direct reflection of the progress that our parents made. Like, our parents made so much progress to the point to where, and we all have experienced this. There's 3 brothers up here. We all got degrees, right? One of the reasons why we got degrees is because there was no other choice. It was like when you graduate high school, where you going to college? It wasn't so much as what are you going to do. It's more so where you going. And what happens is that just that whole experience of a lot of times it was people's either first or second generation, people going to college, they're trying to create some sort of generational tradition or whatnot, and we just ended up just going to college and we just picked, some people were hell even picking just general studies. You know what I mean? Just to be honest, you know what I mean? But yeah, but a lot of BA, and you don't really know that you should probably become a psychologist if you're going to get a BA. Like, you can't get that, but you're getting like $100,000 degree that you're going to come out and you can. And yeah, I mean, you're barely going to be able to make $35,000 because if you don't have, even if you go and get a master's, even if you couple that with a master's degree, you just have to know how to work the degree game. You know what I mean? Like, I know some people that have English degrees and law and Juris Doctorates. Like, you have to combine stuff, business degrees. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of things that you can do. So it's not that the value went down when we started getting it. It's we didn't really have a real methodology about how we were going to figure out what it was that we did best. Let's sit back and look at some things that we need in the community. You know what I mean? Like, we have a need for engineers. We have a need for, let's even say, black male teachers, right? Like, we have a lot of different needs and deficiencies in the community, but our parents were just like, hey, this is a newfound level of acceptance in this modern dominant society. The fact that our kids can even just go to school, we raise them to where they can make good grades and maybe get a scholarship and go to college. That was exhaustive enough on the bandwidth that our people just had. Now, some people had more insight to plan ahead and say, hey, pick something that's going to, is going to suit your needs and your desires and be something suitable financially. And then some people were just so excited that they were able to just get in college. And they just picked some shit. You know what I mean? And what happened, to your point, is that colleges started lowering the standards to get in because freshmen take up the most money because they got to have meal plans and dormitories and all this stuff. And it was this big cash flow for the next 15, 20 years. These schools made tons of money just letting people in, not giving a fuck about their real academic matriculation. And they're actually, seeing degrees conferred. They just trying to get the bulk of that money. When I came to West Georgia, real talk, they didn't have no new facilities. But West Georgia got a new stadium. They got new gyms. And you know why? Because when I was there, they had one of the highest populations of black students and black male students in college before Georgia State. And then Georgia State ended up getting momentum and taking back over. But for a little period of time, everybody was at West Georgia. Y'all know them early 2000s, everybody was at West Georgia. And now they got all these dorms, they got all these facilities, and guess what?
Or Georgia Southern, but yeah.
Or Georgia Southern. But people were actually coming a little bit, really, because West Georgia was just slightly closer. You still got to damn near go to Savannah.
Slightly closer.
Well,
it a lot closer.
You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I mean?
Georgia Southern.
Right. You know what I mean? So it definitely ended up working out for a lot of people. But I just seen that whole money game. And I know a lot of people that racked up a lot of student loan debt, you know what I mean, just to go to school, to say they went to school, and school wasn't really for them, or they just didn't have a plan for it. So it's not even necessarily that the degrees aren't worth anything. It's just, if you ain't got no plan, nothing that you do is gonna be worth anything if you ain't got no plan with it.
No, we have to say that there are way more worthless degrees than there were.
Oh no, they're absolutely. I don't even know how people even get the jobs that they have. Like, how do you get a degree to be whatever the fuck a lot of these positions are? You know what I mean? Like, you just need to be like 30 degrees, and then you just have like subsets after that. You just fit in there.
I mean, most jobs don't actually require a degree as part of the problem. Is that, like, if you're a generally intelligent person, you can do most things. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No. You know what's interesting?
That makes sense.
You know what's interesting is that I know a number of people who actually. When I say a number, I know a lot of people who not only have degrees, but then went and got a trade outside of their degree, and they actually. Their sustenance is provided for by whatever they got afterward, in terms of, and it could be something very small. I mean, and so, I don't want to say very small. I don't think that that's good terminology, but it can be a trade that costs little to nothing in comparison to 120-hour Bachelor of Arts degree, and so one of the things that I told my family member was that the first off, I thought you were going to go there, but I do think that y'all are right. Whenever we get a hold of something, everybody else has already gotten a hold of it, so it's already played out anyway. You know what I mean? And so you have that phenomenon with regard to college degrees, and then you have the other thing. And that's literally the more that you have of anything, the less value it is, right? So if for every 1 in 3 people they were doctors wouldn't make the money that they have. You know, the return, because the discussion was centered solely around return on investment. And so it's the scarcity of it is what makes the return on the investment greater, per se. Now, if you're going to make $18, $20 an hour as somebody that's a college graduate versus $18, $20 an hour as somebody who's a non-college graduate, it's obviously more beneficial to be a non-college graduate just because the debt is not the same. And so I just wanted to throw that out there. I appreciate my cousin. I'm sorry I got here late, and thank y'all for letting me join y'all's show tonight.
Yeah, man. Look, man. Hey, look. I'm next time. I'm not even gonna introduce. If he not here, he's not getting an introduction. I do this out of a courtesy because the man name at the bottom of the screen and shit. But when he don't show up on time, we look. Y'all know. Y'all know him. We not gonna. Y'all know us. When we show up, we gonna introduce ourselves. We'll let him introduce himself when he skedaddles his way on up the road.
Through the traffic.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Any final thoughts before I play the 21 gun salute? I know I done pissed everybody clean off tonight, so.
You came in with your camouflage. You came in ready for war.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right, you know what I mean?
I mean,
I'm good, man.
We covered a lot. I wouldn't even know what to say.
Man, justice.
Do the best you can.
Justice for this sister, man. Justice for justice for takeoff, man. Justice for the everyday people, man, out here losing their life, man. You know what I mean? The folks think they don't care, man. We do care, man.
We do care. We rock.
We definitely do care,
we out
man.
here to protect you.
You know what I'm saying?
Protect you, but every now and then we're gonna have to have a tough love exchange. You know, so we rock with you. We fight for you every day, man. To my brothers, man, they did their job. Y'all did y'all job, man. I'm so thankful for y'all. Y'all got fed up, and y'all let y'all voice be heard, man. And I'm very happy about that. Yep. So
I mean, what kind of swings did we see? I haven't really looked. I haven't unpacked the Georgia stuff, but I mean, what kind of? I mean, you sound like
14%
of black men or black people.
That's what we can quantify. 14%. That was a good amount, and we pulled, I think, 6% of black women. So,
I mean, those are significant numbers.
Yeah. So, I think Trump got 19.
Oh, did he?
Of the black vote.
You got that much more? Okay. Well, I mean.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's do that, man. Look, man, check this out. Check this Tupac thing out. The New South, man. The new civil rights movement. East Point smoke some dank.
Call it Paul in the house.
We here to bring money and to bring change. They here to cause confusion. All these weak rappers, Nas, all these suckers, they battling off of East and West like this is a game. This ain't no game. If this was chess, we'd be yelling checkmate 3 years ago because we've been beat these. It's not a game. We out here trying to help our people make money. We trying to get out of this 3-strike circle they got us in and start getting our papers on. So that's what we doing. By strength in numbers, we coming to the East Coast to prove there is no fear, there is no problem, there ain't nothing but opportunity. And the opportunity is overthrow the government y'all got right now, which is Bad Boy and Nas and all that bullshit, and we will bring a new government here that will feed every person in New York.